Welcome to our series of 365 days, 365 concepts. Today we would be discussing the concept of provision versus contingent liability. First things first, liability. Liability is an expense that we are supposed to incur in the future as and when it arises. So, what is the difference between provision and contingent liability? Let's understand this difference with the help of an example. Let's say a firm is there who is facing a lawsuit of $1 million. Now, based on the probability of loss, we would decide whether we will have to record a provision liability or whether we will have to record a contingent liability. If the likelihood of lawsuit going against us, that is, if the likelihood of us as a firm losing the lawsuit is greater than 50%. Let's say the lawyer says that the probability is 70% that we would lose around 700K, that is 700,000. Then we would record a provision. How we would go about recording this provision? We will recognize an expense in the income statement and simultaneously a liability in the form of a provision in the balance sheet. The journal entry for this would basically be lawsuit expense account debit to the tune of 700K and to provision for lawsuit to the tune of 700K will be credited. So we are recognizing an expense in the income statement by debiting it, and at the same time we are creating a liability and recording it on the balance sheet. This is what a provision liability looks like, where we create a corpus, we keep it aside so that we can utilize it as and when the liability hits us. Now, if the probability of losing is less than 50%, it is not that probable. It is just 30% possible. Let's say that we would be incurring an expense of around 700,000. Then we would not create a provision. We would not expense the income statement. We would just write a footnote in the notes to accounts of the company that we might incur 700,000 in the near future. If the likelihood is less than 50%, it is very meagerly possible that such a liability will arise. We will record a contingent liability. But if the probability is very high, it is greater than 50%, 70, 80%, that is when we record a provision liability, and this is how the accounting of it happens. So a very fairly simple, crisp topic of how provision and contingent liability goes around. Hope you like this video, and we will see you with another concept on another day. Thank you.